Okay, let's see if I think we're back. I can see a chat again, which is exciting. So yes, I might just have to start and stop the live stream every time. I don't think I'm getting the massive 6 hour live stream that I was hoping for, because I think YouTube stopped this stream a little while ago. Um, but so here's what you missed. We went through the rest of the Black Canyon or the sand dunes photos. Hey YouTube, let's find out. Is this working? This is working. Okay, we're back on. Sweet. Yeah, so we went through the rest of the Black Canyon photos, or the Black Canyon sand dunes photos. We started at 211 photos, and then we came down to 140. So making some progress. We talked about some of these nighttime shots, and the main reason that you turn around, because we were out there looking for the Milky Way, but right as we were leaving, we turned around and look, there's the Big Dipper over the dune. It's gonna be one of my favorite. Definitely a photo I'm looking forward to editing the most. So, anyway, we have completed the first of 5. The journey continues. We are now going to Black Canyon of the Gunnison, which is one of the better. One of the. This is the thing I heard from everybody who has been to this national park, that Black Canyon is one of the more slept on national parks. And it's completely true. It is a small national park. It is only about 12 square miles versus sand dunes, which is 30 square miles, and then you get to something like Yellowstone, which is thousands. So yes, smaller park, and some of these photos are going to be kind of the mountains as we come in. But yeah, this is we're going to spend some time at Black Canyon of the Gunnison. All right. See the color version of this. Ooh, Lightroom's being a little bit of a ponce right now. That's exciting. Yeah, mountain coming in. I like mountains. I tend to keep all the mountain photos, even if they're not good. But again, I like that one less. I like that one even less. I like the. This first one feels like it's a photo about the mountain and the landscape. The second one, actually, the second one's not that bad. I regretted getting rid of the second one. The third one, no, third one's we're losing the mountain. The mountain feels like it's just an afterthought. Here we go. Welcome to Black Canyon, which looks great in black and white, but really you get the scope of it in color. Black Canyon of the Gunnison is yeah, it is. If you are a climber, Black Canyon is the park to go to for climbing. If you're a climber who's not looking to like not ready to climb El Cap yet, Black Canyon is the spot to go. These walls are just at their highest points, just over 2,000 feet. There's a lot of them that are just sheer drops. There we got some photos coming up of that. There's something like 112 different known climbing routes throughout the canyon. So Black Canyon of the Gunnison is a great one for climbing. And this photo is a great way to start with Black Canyon. Definitely keeping this one again. A thing about Black Canyon that is super cool is that it really, because it's a fairly narrow canyon. Again, you can see the river down there. There are spots, and there's spots further down that you'll see it even more. There's spots where this canyon is 40 feet wide and that's the rest, and that's it. So and it's also cool. There's some spots where you've got this, where both sides of the wall are these sharp drops, and some sides where you got a sharper edge and then a slope, which is neat. But one of the coolest things about Black Canyon, and there's a lot of cool things about Black Canyon, is at least to me, is that landscape that just sort of forest, trees, and then just drop off. It just there's you just walk off the edge of the world. So yes, I like this photo because it emphasizes that, and you see the whole scope. You see just the trees, or the walls going all the way down to the river that carved them. Next, rotate. Again, I'm adjusting settings. I'm playing with light and color. Looks a little dark. Looks a lot dark actually. Now I'm sitting here talking about it. Let's see. Yeah, the bright one is the good one. That just looks great. These two. What did I do? What did I do to make these that dark? I can't even see what I changed. That might have been a cloud coming across. Yeah. Or no, you know what that was? That was me putting a filter on the lens because I put the polarizer on to try to keep the sky blue. We'll talk about that coming up. Here we go. This is the filter being used correctly. Compare that to this. It's a more focused picture. I don't know if it's the better one. This is the problem with Black Canyon is that I took a lot of photos of the same things, just with slight adjustments. I like that one better. Stick with me, team. We got 340 something of these to go through. 374. Sorry, more than that. More than I thought. 374 photos, guys. We're in for this. This is gonna be great. I'm stopping in 2 hours. We'll see how this goes. We're 2 hours in. Got 2 more. I think this is cool. Like I'm gonna keep this maybe just for personal reasons. I like the lower clouds. I like the sort of like zigzaggy ridge lines that you can sort of see coming down, and I like the shadow of the cloud. I'm a big sucker for cloud shadows. Let's see. You all sat down. You all agreed to sit down for step 1 of my creative process. This is gonna just take some time, and that's part of the fun. There we go. Now we have the now we're see this by having more cloud and by focusing less on this, we're actually making the cloud shadow more of a noticeable thing in the photo. Part of that is by adding more white. By adding more white and adding more we are also when you notice a brighter thing, you notice the darker things because contrast. This to some degree is like if I go back, this one, which I'm actually gonna get rid of now that I'm looking at it. This is like if we're talking if we're in film world, this is the equivalent of a 3-hour movie that feels like it's 4 hours. This is a 3-hour movie that feels like it's 2 because it just like. You more clearly follow the story and see the cloud, you see the shadow, you see the canyon. Like this feels like the better representation. It's not making you work as hard to understand it or to understand, or to you find meaning where you find meaning. But again, canyon, it's a lot of these shots of the canyon that I'm going to have to just pick one of. What I was doing here was let's see. What I was doing here was this little shadow. I was kind of lining it up with the river itself, and sort of using that as a line to kind of guide you through. That's a pretty good version of it. There's a couple of these. Let's see. All right, there we go. Yeah, that one lines up almost perfectly. That one's very good. This one. I like this one better as a photo because looking at the thumbnail, like the sky feels like it's in better balance with everything. I'm gonna keep that. It's one of those things where this technically evinces the concept better, and this is gonna be one of those where it's like does color, black and white, make the difference? We'll see. But I like both of these. I think this one feels like a better balance of the world. This one, on the other hand, this last one I think is kind of a middle ground. That I'm actually going to go... No, I'm keeping because I like how well that lines up. But I'm not... This one feels like this one you notice... I look at this photo and the first thing that my eye goes to is this dark patch down here. And that just guides me right through the canyon. And when I finish that trip through the canyon, I don't feel like there's a part of the photo that I missed. Which is good. So we're going to keep that one for sure. Funnily enough, this one not as much. I think this one I get a fuller sense of the trip. This one a little different. Does have a nice S carving through it though. This one feels like this one feels a little cluttered. Though I like the colors. Hang on. There's a lot of color in that, and that's a photo worth keeping for that reason. Probably true for all the rest of these, but I don't want to. This looks so good in black and white. Put it in color. Let's crank up the... Doesn't look as... It still looks cool, but doesn't look as cool, I don't think, as the other one does in color. So we're going to keep both of those for different reasons. And we'll see where it goes. All right, moving right along. Again, I was having a lot of fun on this trip, or attempting to do the whole, like... look, here's a close-up rock. Here is the thing made of rock in the background. I do it a lot better when we get to Kevlar Pass and we're going through trees. I got a couple. I think I got a couple really good shots of like tree in the foreground, like, and then just endless sea of the same trees. Thank you, Adobe. I'm not updating right now. Endless sea of the same trees, just stretching on to the horizon and to the mountains. I don't like this photo. This photo is not impressing me at the moment. This one's a little better. It's at least got the horizon correct, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna keep it because I think there's this might be, this feels like a moment of like Eric in the field had a thought that Eric sitting right here hasn't quite grasped yet. I'm gonna leave it as is. Let's see. Let's put this in color. Gives you a little bit of a sense of being above the trees, but we'll get. I know we're gonna get there. I've got better ones of this. This is starting to be a better ones of this. Yeah, let's be looking down, y'all. Let's look down on the trees. That's a cool thing you can do at Black Canyon. Is you are up looking down on trees. How often do you get to look down on trees? That's pretty cool. I know these photos. Like, I sat here with this spot for a few shots trying to find the right angle. So. No, not yet. It's not that. That's not it yet. Trying to get that sense of depth, that sense of scale. This is better. For some reason, taking the sky out helps me feel like I'm looking down. I don't know why. I'm going to keep that one for now. Thank you. Back to black and white with you, though. Looks like I've got like 4 or 5 more of these. And I think this sort of works. My eye, I don't know, my eye is sort of, this is a photo I know well. My eye is sort of drawn to this tree down here as kind of a subject, sort of symmetrical between the stones. I don't know how that works. It's a big maybe. Again, sketching. This is another reason why photographers tend not to share this part of their work, because it's just a lot of like, this photo's just kind of mid, guys. I don't know what to tell you. This photo it's just not going to get in there. I'm not getting rid of it because I think maybe one day I'll find the story that I want to tell with this. But like, okay, this is better. That tree is brighter. It's a little more it's a little more noticeable. Again, I don't think this photo is quite doing what I want it to do. Yeah, this photo isn't quite getting where I need it to get yet. But it might. Said no to that. We said yes to this one. I'm saying no to this one. Let's get rid of that. Again, it might. Let's see. Let's switch. Color. Still very incredibly here. These photos are not. Some of these, like I said, there's gonna be some photos that are just not good. And that's okay. That some of them just aren't as good. This one, I don't know. Doesn't quite hit. Now we're doing something different. Now we're looking down a little more on this cluster of dead trees down there. I don't know which way to orient this photo, but there's some little more to this. This looking more down. I'm getting more of a sense of the trees reaching up, which I think is cool. I know I took this photo from this angle. I don't know which one of these. Actually, no, I do. I like this better. Looking at the thumbnail, I got a bit of a dark slash coming through. I think that's kind of cool. Again, this one's not as bad because now we got some rock, we got some trees. Yeah, this one feels like it's a little more of a story, and we're clearly looking down into like a crevice, which is also cool. I like the dark one. I like the brighter one a lot. Let's keep both of those. And then one more bright one. I like it zoomed out better. I like the zoomed out version. All right, here we go. Moving on to something that makes a little more sense. Just a dead tree against this rock. The Black Canyon of the Gunnison is made of several different types of rock. There's a place on it called the Painted Wall, which we're going to get to, that is just absolutely a showcase for these kind of stripes. Come back out. Most of this rock is sedimentary. A lot of it is a sedimentary equivalent to granite. Granite's igneous. No, granite's metamorphic, I think. Anyway, but yes, it's a different type of rock, but it's very similar. It's similar in hardness. It's similar in sort of stability. But then you have these lines running through it that are basically a type of quartz that give it the darker sedimentary rock gives it the dark look, the Black Canyon stuff, and then you have these lines coming through that are very quartzy, which is very cool and something I like. I'm not taking phone calls at the moment. I'm busy live streaming for the person. As Stephen Fry would say, the viewing several. Nope, we're going. Why are we going that far back, y'all? We're trying to look at one. Trying to go back to one photo. There we go. I like that one better. This one zoomed out. I'm getting too much. Rotate. Let's see. Don't like that as much. This one's not bad. I like how this branch is kind of perfectly lined up with the quartz. That's enough of a reason for me to keep that photo. If you want to know what that looked like, zoomed out. Here you go. Here's Black Canyon from a different spot, and there's these several little outcroppings. I think this is Rocky Point where I'm taking photos from. In front of me is Devil's Point, or Devil's something. Devil's Landing. It's not Devil's Landing, but it's something like that. And then, yeah, just another one out there, and then the other side of the canyon. I feel like I took this photo just... I don't know if I feel like I took this photo just to have a photo of this spot, but, like, I don't know if I did. I kind of like it. I like this one less. This dead tree that was a subject a moment ago now feels like it's a distraction. Though, less so in this one. Excuse me for the yawn. Need more caffeine. I'm going to need more tea in a few minutes. We'll get through Black Canyon at least. Yeah, so, I'm not sure. I'm going to say no to this one. This one isn't... I'm saying yes to this one. This one I'm interested in. I think that's cool. Let's see. Yeah. Teach me to turn my phone off. What's going on here? Interesting. Okay. That's... All right. I'll respond to that in a bit. Actually, let me send a text real quick right now. Sorry. Real quick thing. Let's just... Gonna throw up the Be Right Back slide for 1 second. You're just gonna listen to me thinking out my my message here. Okay, coming back to the basic stream. Here we go. Cool. All right. So once again, this is the view from Rocky Point. We'll check that in a minute. Just sort of. Again, this is me. I'm here trying to capture both. In this case, both. I think both. I think this photo. I'm keeping this photo. I think this photo works on a couple different levels. Or is a good middle ground for what I'm attempting to do, because I think I'm trying to capture the scope of how deep this canyon is. And I've got a few photos coming up that I know do a better job. But also just the landscape back here with like the mountain back there, and then the closer mountain, and then just the edge of the canyon, and then just the drop that the Black Canyon really is. It is staggering how, like, even here's the thing, even at the Grand Canyon, you can look out and see kind of how it goes down. You can get a good sense of the scale and the size of the Grand Canyon, but the thing you don't get from the Grand Canyon that I so far have only gotten to Black Canyon is the drop. Black Canyon is narrow and it is sheer, and it is, I believe it is the, like, I believe Black Canyon has the, like, I think, I don't know if it's Painted Wall or one of their spots, but it is like, it has the single, I know it's in Colorado. I don't know if it's nationwide or lower 48 or what, but in Colorado, Black Canyon has the steepest, like the tallest just sheer cliff in the state. Black Canyon's got a couple of like superlative things in the state, and we'll get to that. Here we go. Once again, me doing it's the same thing, just depth of the canyon with the landscape on top of just, and intentionally making the landscape very small up there. So it's like, right, little, here's this is like one of those, like an ant farm where like you see the top and then, and then there's just all this, like the sand and the tunnels and everything beneath it. This is my attempt at that kind of effect. I think this photo kind of gets there. A little bit of work, a little bit of editing. I think this concept is a provable one. This is slightly different because I've got this pathway leading to the mountain, but again, you see the rocks, you see the canyon taking up, the majority of the photo, which I think is good. I remember doing a few shots like this because I liked that mountain and that pathway to it, and trying to find the right balance for it. Okay, this is a wider shot. That's the 20. This is 40 mil versus 24. Hey, all right, real quick, good chance to talk about lenses. Because I talk about, like you have I go out into the field with 3 lenses for the most part. I've got a wide lens that's 10 millimeters to 22. I've got a medium lens that's 24 to 105, and then I got my big lens, which is 150 to 600. And apart from just being able to view things, closer, or to get more of the scope in a photo, the other thing that being more like wider lenses exaggerate distance, telephoto lenses tend to compress. And so this is a really, really, really good example of it that I haven't captured as well in the past. These 2 photos are on the same lens. This is 40 millimeters. The other one is 24. So we're 16 millimeters apart. That's the only difference. But looking at this, the mountain, like this all feels like it feels like it's all just like you feel a connection between all these more than you do with this one. This one, same place, all it is zoomed out, but you feel the distance of it more. This mountain feels further away from this rock formation than it does here. This feels more connected, and that's wow, I didn't realize how good of a example I was finding there. I'm keeping this one for this just as a teaching aid, because yes, like 16 millimeters, you're not even changing lenses, you're just changing zoom, and barely changing it. Again, that lens is a 24 to 105, so going from 24 to 40, you see the difference, and that's the wrong direction. Yeah, like, and this is this one here is the better photo in my opinion. This feels more connected to everything, and I like that better. But yeah, just that distance is cool. And then here we are. This is also at 24 millimeters. It's just a slightly different angle of it. That's a better photo. Let's go ahead and we'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of the middle one. So we'll have the 24. Actually, I can do this. I can do a comparison. I can put this up. Yeah, I have my stream skip like crazy, but right, that's the active photo. Here's the reference. You gonna let me? There we go. So there you go. 40 millimeters right here, 24 here, and just the mountain is smaller. This feels like a huge gap versus this feeling smaller. Yeah, it's a really cool example of that, and I haven't gotten this chance to showcase that super well. Here we go. Let's look at the bottom of the canyon. Doesn't matter. Color black and white. Yeah, no, that's just a drop. I'm gonna keep that. I've got better photos that exemplify it because I was here for a while trying to get this moment. I got a couple good photos where you really see the canyon sort of work its way down and kind of come across in a V. This is definitely that. Here we go. Canyon coming up, canyon going that way. I'm inclined to keep most of these because I'm like, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with them, but we're gonna figure it out. Let's see. And the darkness down at the bottom there is a little bit more than I want it to be. This photo is not speaking to me really at all. This photo is almost completely upside down. This is I'm on 14 mil, so I've switched to my wide lens. Again, exaggerating distance, but just yeah and in this case I want that because I want to help explain, want to help capture just the scope of this drop. I don't think this photo does it very well. I'm not getting rid of it. I clearly had a vision for this, but like I don't think that photo is accomplishing exactly what I want it to. Once again, 70 millimeters. Zoomed in more. I don't like this one as much, and I think I've probably got a few of these that where I get my horizon closer to straight. Let's check these and just kind of. We got 4 of them here. Looks like all kind of hanging out at the. That's 58. That's 67. That's 70, and this other one's gonna be also 70. Okay. Nope, that's too far. Let's see. Which one of these do I like? That one seems a little tilted, but not in a way I can't fix. That's got more canyon, which I think is cool, and I cropped out the. You know what? Yeah, I think that second one's better. Normally, if I wanted to showcase the cloud here, I'd want this little bit of breathing room up at the top. I don't. The cloud, if the cloud is just the functioning as a border, our eyes go to the rock, and that's better. I'm a fan of that. Zooming out a bit, trying to get everything. Keep it. And zooming out even more to capture that road leading up to the mountain, but I don't think it works the way I want it to. As I bring the highlights down, do I get some interesting sky going on there? Not really. Okay. Slightly. You know, that photo actually could be pretty cool if I go really austere with it. If I dehaze this photo, and I clarity it, and bring the blacks down. Yeah, there's something cool about the austerity of that. I'm not disliking it, and putting it in color. Okay, yeah, this one's worth keeping. This one's getting 2 stars. This one's already on its way to becoming something. It's great. Didn't plan that. I love that this just happens. That was not a photo I thought I was going to be doing anything with. I was about to delete it. This is why the creative process is important. And this is why we don't just go. I mean, and yeah, there's been times in this stream where I've done this, but this is why, for the most part, we don't just go nah, and don't just look for the great ones, because the great ones, more often than being found, are made to a degree. This is the decent scope of the canyon, the drop of the canyon. Here's the thing with national park photos. This is true. This is the thing that I do. It's a thing that I've seen other people do. The thing with national park photos is when you first get there, it's a photographic version of the Dunning-Kruger effect. When you first get there, you are like, oh my god, everything is so cool, and you were taking picture after picture after picture of this canyon. Don't get me wrong, this canyon is so cool. Like 100%, this canyon is awesome. But then you kind of get to know the park a little better, and you start going, oh no, this canyon is so cool, but some of this stuff is so cool. And we'll get to that. So, like, I'm sitting here being like, I took 200 fucking photos of this, like, just this crevice, which is very cool. But we're not at the stuff that's so cool yet. We're getting there. But this is still so cool. This one's a little more interesting to me, I think. Again, this photo is almost identical, so maybe it's not more interesting to me. I just think it's interesting. I'm going to keep this. I like what the clouds are doing. There was one spot here that I was trying to get a good shot of. That might be the next couple. Where you had like almost... It wasn't a total rock spire kind of out by itself, but it was close. And I was trying to get a shot that kind of encapsulated top to bottom how big this single rock pillar was. Because it was a good, like, this is the height of the canyon. And kind of an avatar for the canyon in a rock. This one's kind of cool. That is, to clarify, that is a rock, not the country of Iraq. All right, here we go. Same thing. Again, trying to get the depth of the canyon, not doing it the justice it deserves. Can you even... Another reason for that is you can't see the river. You can see the layers of rock here are awesome. That's actually I think I want to keep this photo for that reason, because the layers of rock here are just like ridge working all the way back. I think that's super cool. But it's not conveying the way the Canon the way that I wanted to. Something kind of neat about this though, about doing the canyon that way. Leaning into some of the contrast. I'm a fan. Let's keep that. There's the river. I also have no idea what direction it's supposed to be. This is. Yep, there's the river. This is at 45 millimeters. I'm that zoomed out. Wow. Cool. Not gonna keep it though. Here we go. Okay, now we're talking. This is. We've come down to the painted wall viewpoint. Black Canyon of the Gunnison, by the way, it's a park for climbing. But beyond that, it's not really a park for hiking. There's a couple of hikes that are that have a little bit of meat to them, but for the most part, the most walking you're doing is you're driving to different outlooks and then walking, like maybe 500, 600 yards. Not even that. I think the longest one we saw was like 394. You're walking, a couple of football fields out to a viewpoint. It's not a park that's hiking heavy, and you can get to some of these spots very easily. This is the painted wall right here, which if I do it in color, you can kind of see why. But this is a shot where you get the ridges, you get the river, you get the canyon itself. We got a lot of these, as we should. This is one of the spots that is so cool. There we go. Now we're looking better. Look at that. There's painted wall and the river going through it, and going up to the top, you get a good sense of the scope. This one's gonna be fun to. Honestly, I kind of want to over haze this up a little more, and then let's see, keep that as is, and then darken the blacks down, and get kind of that. Yeah, just lean and turn the texture up. Yeah, lean into that. Just go real contrasty on this one. Yeah, something in this vein, I think, really. This photo, and this is hard to explain because you haven't been there, but like looking at this photo right now, this feels like the Black Canyon at the Gunnison. This feels like what that park sort of feels like. And that's also possibly because it looks a little bit like what their park logo is. That might be why I'm sitting here going, this is it. It's because I've taken I've basically just done a Disney live action remake of the park's logo. 6 of one, 1/5 of a score of the other. Moving on. Next. Again, same thing. I like this one back here a little better because I like this. I like that. Not you. Move on. I like that little sliver of sky. That little sliver, like this, and it's one of those things where sometimes you don't want that. In this case, I like this photo. I'm keeping this photo because I can have some fun with the layers of rock. But the one right before it, that little bit of sky gives context and shows, like, the fact that you can see. Excuse me, can yawn again. Anyway, the fact that you can see top to bottom, kind of where this goes is super cool, and I'm a big fan. But I'm keeping this one for other reasons. Rotate this one, again, very similar to the first one. Barely different. Wow. Keeping this as well. I like both. I think both of them will. I think I can have some fun with all these. But yeah, just gives you a sense of what Black Canyon of the Gunnison does really feel like, and you get to see the size of it. Speaking of the size of it, I didn't take a whole lot of educational photos on my camera. Most of those were done just like on the camera on my phone. But look, this is me showing that I have a phone, because I feel like nowadays, like the whole like I took this on my phone camera, where you have to you have to show the phone, is the equivalent of being like yeah, so I called somebody like back in the 80s and 90s, where you'd have to do the phone call like symbol so people would understand I was calling. And there are several days where I kind of agree with George Carlin that people who feel the need to do this when they talk on the phone, when they talk about a phone call, should be killed, including myself in this. And I'm like, look, guys, I have a phone. Like, just dude, out, walk into the canyon. Anyway. But this is interesting because, can I zoom into this without it being, nope, I'm zooming in too much, either way, doesn't matter. Um, Showing the heights of the canyon versus heights of famous buildings. Eiffel Tower is so the canyon itself. Zoom in. Painted wall, tallest vertical cliff in Colorado. There you go, 2,250 feet. Compared to the Burj Khalifa, tallest building in the world, the one Tom Cruise climbed to the side of for that Mission Impossible movie, and brought his career back, is 500 feet taller, 2,500 feet taller, and it's got a big long like antenna at the top of it. Yeah, Taipei 101, all the way in there. Empire State Building is 1454, so we're almost 1,000 feet taller than the Empire State Building, or 800 feet taller than the Empire State Building. Yeah, so that's how tall the Black Canyon of the Gunnison is. I'm keeping this photo. I will not be editing this photo. This photo stops here. Here we go. Painted wall again. Do I rotate this? No, I like it like this. Take the color in. That's the painted wall. Steepest cliff in Colorado. There's some color in there. Yeah, that's a painted wall. That's way oh my god, that color is garish. This isn't a Michael. I'm not doing a Michael Bay movie. But yeah, that's a painted wall. Keeping this photo. I'm not sure I'm editing it. I don't necessarily love the angle. I think it's informational more than the thing about. And this is a challenge I set for myself every time I go out to take photos, and I don't always do it well, or accomplish it at all. But the yawning again. Something to think about when you go out to take pictures is, are you taking a picture of a place or are you taking a picture about the place? Because taking a picture about the place, like this photo here, to some degree feels like it is a photo about the place, because the feeling it conveys is one of the feelings you feel from Black Canyon, one of the ones I do. This photo here, even though it's got the tilt and it's got a little bit of character to it, it does still kind of feel just, yep, that's what Black Canyon sort of looks like. It's what it looks like versus what it feels like, and I think that matters. Let's see. Again, painted wall. Now I'm shooting on more of a portrait angle. That's better. I don't know why. Keeping it. Not sure I fully understand. Painted wall for me, I was less interested in it than I was the canyon behind it. This is one of those like, oh, you got to go see painted wall. I saw painted wall. Painted wall looks like this. Painted wall's fine. Didn't dislike it. I like this photo less than I like this one. I think this one's better. Got a little more context, a little more rock to it, a little more of a interesting angle. And did we do it again? We sort of did it again. This one, no. Now we're focusing on the river. Now we're back to focusing on the river. A little more sky in there. If I take the exposure down, oh, there are clouds in that sky. Okay, I can do something with that. We're keeping this. This photo has. That's not just a white void. I can make a very compelling photo with this. And this is the reason why we look at our histogram, which is the thing up here in this corner. And the histogram is basically, it divides your photo into 5 sections: blacks, shadows, exposure in the middle, highlights, and whites. And what you're looking for is, you don't based on the spread, and what you're seeing in there, the hump and the spread. The spread is how, how many colors you have, sort of. If I switch this into color. There you go. Now it's got some color on it. You can sort of see, okay, I can see where my blues are. I can see where my reds are. I can see the spread of this. A lot of this is white. Or a lot of this is not easily definable as a single color. But yeah, so it's the same shape. It just gives you that bit of that spread. And you can see kind of where your colors are, but you can also see where your brightness and darkness are. I have very little going on in the blacks, which is fine. Like the blacks being, you don't necessarily want it. Like photo like this, yeah, like the darkest area is right in here, and that's fine. I don't need, if I darken the blacks down. Yeah, there's a lot of this counts as the blacks, but for the most part, and I can also adjust my histogram in Lightroom by dragging each of these sections if I wanted to. But yeah, so I can do that. So if I adjust the darks, the blacks, I do get, I'm pulling the histogram back so that the blacks are more represented. If I adjust my shadows, I'm affecting a lot more of the photo. Not necessarily as dramatically, but I'm affecting a lot more of the photo because there's just more of a spread of the photo in the shadows thing. Exposure will do the same thing. Not a ton of white, not a ton of highlights. Like highlights are just mostly affecting the sky and that little bit up there. And also, but if I go to the whites, like I'm gonna have to do more than that, but like you can see that spreads out more, and you can see there's a little bit more detail in the sky. And also notice that as I adjust this, I'm also adjusting the white slider down here. So it's, you can adjust your histogram, you can adjust the histogram of your photo and the exposure of your photo with the sliders, or you can come up and actually, touch the histogram itself and adjust that way, depending on what you like. The other thing on here is I've got these two little arrows, one there and one here that I currently have turned off, but if I turn them both on, it shows me, you can tell by the little white outlines that they're on, shows me what's overexposed and what isn't. So like right now, or what's over and underexposed. So right now, like that section of the sky is overexposed. If I pull the whites down, and I pull the highlights down, I can bring that back, and you can see now my histogram is not pressed up against the wall there, and it's not quite spiking as high. I've brought that back down into range, and now it's not overexposed. If I bring the blacks down, yeah, all of a sudden you're starting to see blue. This is all underexposed. There's no information there. If I zoom in and I turn this off, yeah, there's just nothing. If I try to brighten that up now, it's just gonna be dark. It's gonna go from black to slightly lighter gray. And this is the thing with like when you go out to make photographs, I'm looking at this on my histogram on my camera and being like, right, this is okay. Even though there's some spots that are a little overexposed, and there's definitely a peak in the whites. I want that to be there because I know the sky is bright. I don't want the sky to not be bright in this photo. But also, I can, like, I'm like, all right, I know I'm still within the range of my histogram. Nothing's really going way off the charts one way or the other. And so I can adjust this, and I can bring this histogram back down into range, and I can get a photo that looks it's got a really good balance of light and dark. So yeah, that's the little talk about histograms and brightness. 100% we're keeping this photo, 100% we're editing this photo. I've talked about it too much not to have fallen in love with it. Rotate. Let's see, did I get a response? Nope, I didn't. I got a text. I got currently being left on red. That's cool. All right, yeah, same kind of thing with this photo. This is me. Like, all right, notice the difference here. See this histogram? Got some peaking in the brightness. You can put your cursor over that, and it'll show you if it's peaking or overexposed without turning it permanently, without toggling it on or off. But yeah, look at the histogram here where it's brighter. Now look at this one where I'm adjusting a bit. Histogram still spiking here, but not as much. You can see a little more detail in the sky, and now I can probably get, yeah, I don't have to adjust as much to get the highlights and to get the sky back into view. However, I am peaking over here in the shadows. Like the shadows on this one are darker, and so the shadows are controlled, but also still within range. If I turn the shadows up, I get all that detail back. That I haven't lost anything yet. That's fine. I don't know which of these compositions I like better. I like this one actually a little better because I think the river kind of is more centered, but we'll see. Nope, it's 1 star. You're not editing. You're not done yet. I did a bunch of these. You'll notice there's a bunch of these photos that I'm gonna start rotating. I'm gonna get all these rotated and then figure out which ones I want to edit. And I was also climbing past the edge of the fence to get these shots, so don't tell my mom. She doesn't like it, but she has she has been very good about me being like, hey, turn around, don't look at what I'm about to do. Again, good one, good photo. Slightly more centered on the river, I think. We're gonna keep that. I like this one a lot. I'm liking this one less. This one, horizon's a little off, and that one feels a little more, I don't know. I'm going to keep both of these. That's going to come back to this. This is going to be a moment where I've got to sort of sit there and really go, all right, which of these really lands it? It's one of those things like, all right, when you're trying to center align something that's on a curve. There's a photo of my brother that I took, where it's him in profile and he's got a backpack on. And I want him to feel like he's in the center of the photo. But in order to do that, if I center it on his face, because he's got the backpack, it feels like he's off center, even though his face is perfectly centered, but it feels like he's off center because the backpack is swaying one side, is tipping the scale a bit. So the center of the photo technically is kind of like right past his ear, but that ends up making him feel centered in the photo. And the same thing is true for this river. I like getting the sun in this shot. I'm amazed I didn't. Okay, the sun is overexposed, but nothing else. And I can bring this down and really get some nice. I don't love this rock right in the foreground. Do I ever get? I thought there was one where I got rid of that. No, there's not. There's this one where I got some really good color in the sky, really good detail in the sky. Same color. Black Canyon of the Gunnison looks really good in black and white. Man, I just couldn't get rid of this. Why did I want this rock? Did I want this rock? I am unclear. All right. This photo is better than the one after it because it's got the horizon's a little more balanced. Flag that as a pick. This one, a little bit of a tilt. Don't love it. It can go away. We still have the sun in this good one, yes? Yeah, we still got that. I got one coming up that's like later that's Maroon Bells that just like wasn't expecting to be using the sun as a prop on this shoot on this trip very much, but there's one shot where it's like, yep, that does it. Okay, I'm gonna keep this one. I don't know if I'm gonna end up doing anything else with it. I love the cloud layer. I love how balanced the exposure is. I love the cliffs and the trees on that side and everything. I don't love this one rock in the foreground. We'll see if that ends up. I might crop it out. I might just go with other photos. There was a spot next to Painted Wall that was a little, not quite a cave, but like a little like a rock fall that had a little gap in it, and so I climbed in there to take some photos. This one was keeping this just kind of as a you did this dummy thing. This I like. I like this. I like how this came out. I got 3 of these. Let me do some rotating and pick out the best. And again, this is another instance, I think, of me trying to center something that is not a straight line. I like the clouds. I like the shape of this one. This is one like the photos in the cave where I want to darken, where everything that's like the black on the edge is going to get darkened down, so the focus is really just the void in between that shows off the canyon. This one, not as interesting to me, not at the moment. And then this one, better clouds. I think cropping that in on the side and the bottom might be a way to go. That one's got some potential. That's cool. I like that one. I like this sort of this peering through the blinds sort of look at the Black Canyon of the Gunnison. That one's neat. I'm gonna give that a star. Actually, I'm looking forward to editing that one. What's that look like in color? Also pretty cool. Got a good spread of colors there. I like the Black Canyon ones in black and white right now though more. We'll get to a spot where I like them better, where I like the colors, but yeah, right now in black and white I like them. I don't know. Crop that up a bit, maybe. It's not really saying anything that the last photo didn't also say better. Again, this is. I think these shots are a little more of a novelty. I think these shots are cool. It's cool that I took them. I don't think it's doing a whole lot for me visually. He says, liking this one. That's the other thing, is that I like the idea of being able to have Black Canyon of the Gunnison shots, like shots from Black Canyon of the Gunnison, where you actually feel like you're looking through a black canyon, like different Black Canyon, but like black voids on the side to see this. I like that. This one doesn't quite hit that, but I feel like I like it. Let's see. This is me. This is me wedged into this rock, getting almost stuck and sticking my camera out, trying to take a photo. I don't know if it adds much. I don't know, like the striations on the painted wall down there are kind of cool. I don't know if it adds a whole lot to the photo. Let's see what's the next thing. Next thing is a different viewpoint of the canyon itself. I'm gonna keep this one. I've only got one of these. It might come in handy. All right, here we go. Next photos. This is one of my favorite viewpoints. This is again, the painted wall viewpoint is where scenic viewpoint is where we're supposed to be. But if you go just 20 feet off the path onto this big rock, you get this view, and I love this view. Those of you who follow me on social media, I'm about to be updating profile pictures, and this one is going to be there. I've got a couple photos of me with this in the background, and they're pretty cool. I'm a big fan of them. Excuse me for the yawning. More caffeine. This is also a New Yorker mug with Hamlet doing the Yorick speech, and there's a skeleton behind him wanting his skull back. All right, we got 3 of these, it looks like. At least 3 before I need to rotate. Let's take a look at all 3 of them. That feels like the best one. I don't know if being back any further. This one's on an angle. I don't like that one as much. This one is also on a slight angle, which will show us in a second. There we go. Okay. So this one's also on a slight angle, and I'm thinking that I'm like I can fix that slight angle. But if I fix that slight angle, it's probably gonna end up looking like this photo. But I'm gonna keep it just in case because I think it might end up being cool. All right, here we go. This is from a little further back. I'm rather unclear as why I took this photo. Sky's a little overexposed. Let's bring the sky in. Let's see what. I'm still unclear about what this photo gets me. I'm gonna keep it. I feel like I'm up to something, and I want to know what. It's fun. Okay, this photo in color, too bright. Bring the highlights down. Bring the whites down. Let's get a sense of this photo. This photo is like, you see how this is just peaking? I'm not really like. In the other photo, when I brought the whites down, you could see the spike here sort of spreading out and getting smaller. This one is not really doing. I will have to I'm gonna have to, if I bring the exposure down, I'm gonna have to darken this photo up a good bit to get that look, and I don't think this photo is quite gonna do what I want it to do. Ooh, damn it! I talked too soon. Look at that. The thing I wanted from a photo like this was I wanted the shadow of the cloud cradling the mountain, and I did get it, and I was about to write that off. All right, 2 stars, keeping the photo. We move on. Love how this works. Again, same thing. This is not darker ground. This is in shadow and out of shadow. Dehaze this. That photo is all of a sudden gorgeous. Absolutely keep it. 2 stars, coming back. By the way, if you're new to this, my star rating system is not based on merit. My star rating system is step of the process. 1 star is to be edited. 2 stars is in the process. Edits have been made, not locked in stone yet. 3 stars is I think this is done, and then 4 and 5 stars are when I need to sort specific collections. Again, dehaze this. That just looks phenomenal. I thought all these photos were failures. I was like experimenting and trying to get these photos to look good, and they just. This is an example of the mountains being small in the frame while still being the centerpiece. Like that's still where they're still the star of the shot. This one needs a lot of cropping, but is still a photo worth keeping. These are good. I thought these were bad. I genuinely was ready to write all these off. I walked away from this spot frustrated that I couldn't get the shot that I wanted. And man, was I wrong. Turning the blacks up's a bad idea, though. Let's turn the dehaze up. That's what I was trying to do. Yeah, that's better. This one's not as good. Get rid of this. Next. This is my favorite juniper tree. This tree just all twisted and gnarly, looking very cool. Gonna have some fun with the masking on that one and making it very clearly the focus. And I'm gonna bring up the texture because like look at the trunk on this thing, and if I put it in color, like the colors on that trunk are just so cool. Yeah, I got a few good pictures of this tree. This tree and I are gonna have some fun together. There we go. Look at that. Yeah, we already said no to that one. We are saying no to this one because this one is better. This one, clearly the tree is the centerpiece. A little bit of clarity. Actually, not even a little bit of clarity. A little bit of dehaze. Yeah, I'm gonna separate this. I'm gonna select this tree as a separate mask when I start editing it, and I'm gonna put a star on this one. I know I want to work on this one. this tree is it's gonna be a mask, and I'm gonna pull the texture and the detail way out of that tree. It's gonna be so cool. This is the tree from the other side, and overexposed, but in an interesting way. It being overexposed means I can darken everything else. And the tree is still an interesting centerpiece to this thing. I haven't even played with the clarity yet. I'm gonna want to do that specifically. But then, yeah, texture as well specifically. But like, yeah, this shot is almost vignetting itself, and not a whole lot of noise in there. It's a little grainy, but what was I shooting at? I was shooting at 200. That makes sense. Ooh, I'm 2 stars. Love it. Keep it. These photos I was hoping would be this good, and they are. Keeping it. This is the correct exposure, and if I, yeah, that's it. Sometimes overexposing or underexposing helps you you can help whittle down the photo to what you want it to be, to a better version of what you want it to be, versus just like exposing it correctly. And then, because like this photo, this looks good, and I'm still a amount of work to do with it. But like, this just has so much more presence to me. This one feels about, this one feels of. And so, even though this one is definitely better composed. 2 stars, keeping it, gonna work on it more. Alright, once again, scope of the landscape. Dehaze this, do I decide I want it? Yes. I do actually really like that. Wasn't the plan. I don't know what, this is a photo I don't know what the subject is. But something about looking at the thumbnail up there makes me feel like I need to keep this one. I'm gonna put the rating on 0 though. I'm not sure if this one needs to be edited. Let's see. More land, less land. I think more land. I think more land is better in this case. Once again, I'm liking the scope. It's at 28 millimeters. What's this one at? Also at 28. What was this one at? That was 32, so I zoomed in a bit. Let's see. Why is my phone lighting up? What does it need? I have no idea. Yeah, I kind of like this one. There's something. This is also at 28. It's a little tilted down. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this. I think that's neat. All right, let's have some fun with the river itself. Now that we're here. So I was using a. Let's see. Somebody asking if I'm doing a lot, if I did my live stream today, and it's like, you know what, it's still going. So yeah, gonna stretch again because I'm sitting in this chair, and I'm not gonna stop sitting in this chair for another hour. We got this. There we go. We're not getting through all these photos today. We're gonna get through at least 2 sets. I think we're just gonna get through 2 sets. Maybe we'll start the next one. Maybe I'll just show off portraits. So let's talk about filters for a second. I'm going to do it while looking at this photo. I was using what's called a circular polarizer, which is basically, if you one of the reasons. Let me take this off black and white because this is help to explain. These mountains back here are not actually blue. It is an effect of the way it's an effect of the way the light from our sun is like travels through the air. This is also the reason the sky is blue. That is like it is the effect of the sunlight passing through the air. Having a polarizing filter. That's also what polarization comes from. If you want to see, if you have a pair of polarized sunglasses, you can like potentially like hold them up and then rotate them, like look through them, like this, and see if you see like the light, like daylight changing on things, because it does, like polarized glasses, the angle helps to cut out some of that blue light. A circular polarizer is a filter that screws onto the end of your lens, but can rotate so that you can, whether you're taking portraits or landscape photos. That's another one of those, like, hold your phone. I was on a call. Yeah, I'm taking photos. I gotta do the camera hands. That's another one of those things where if you rotate your, so you rotate the filter to cut out, or or keep the blue. What that also has the effect of doing is when I have a shot like, where's a shot with the sky in it? When I have a shot like this, which we've already decided looks good, or will look good, having the polarizer can have the effect of sort of doing this, and it helps distinguish the sky, helps distinguish the clouds from the sky, because it helps kind of highlight what is blue and what isn't. It's a very useful tool. It also can be very frustrating to sit there and adjust this. Anyway, because the river down here is visible mostly by the light that is reflecting off of it. I go back into color. By adjusting the polarizer in this with a shot like this, not only am I brightening and darkening the sky, I am also, and cutting out blue light, I am also brightening and darkening the river. And the light reflecting off of the river. And that was a thing, like, that's not the intended effect of this, but it does let me do shots like this, where, hang on, we're working on it. There we go. That's in color. That's in black and white. Lets me do shots like this, where I can really just get the light coming off the river. Like, those are my shadows or everything else, but there's not a lot of shadow in this photo, because, like, look at my histogram. This is just dark. The majority of this photo is dark, and there's a little bit of light way out there that I can't even get access to. So, yeah, nothing's overexposed. Nothing's underexposed, actually. I'm surprised by that. But, like, yeah, photos like this are how I'm, like, circular polarizer is how I'm able to get photos like this, which is very cool. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these yet, because, like, if I bring the exposure up there, now you can see the whole thing, and now my river is a bit overexposed, and I'm sure I've added not a whole lot of grain. Wow, God, shooting raw is awesome. You could just get so much information. That's by the way, let's talk about where noise comes from real quick. My ISO is at 200, so I'm not adding a whole lot of noise to the photo as is. Noise, grain in your photo comes from trying to get your photo to do something that to like, you know, to show you something that it does not have information for. So when you try to brighten something that it's too dark, or you try to darken something that's just light, that's where, like, if you try to darken a picture of the sun, if you try to, like, darken the sun, you don't really, like, here you go. In this, if I was to take the highlights down, because my river is not, it's hot, but it's not overexposed, except for those little spots. If I bring the highlights down, you see the texture. It finds the texture in the river, and I could actually make a very balanced version of this photo. I don't want to; it's less interesting. But if you try to do that with the sun, what you just get it going to gray. It's a featureless white circle, or it's a featureless sort of gray circle. You don't get the more detail because I don't know if we can, like, at least I don't. I have not tried taking a photo of the sun with, like, a filter on. This is one of the things you get during you get the glasses during a solar eclipse. Like, I can try to put a filter on my camera and see if I can get a picture of this, like, a bunch of filters on my camera. See if I can darken my camera all the way down and get a picture of the sun where I've got some detail. But it takes a lot. Again, it's the brightest light source we've ever encountered in our lifetimes, and likely ever will. But yeah, but because there's enough information here and it's not overexposed, I can pull the whites down and see that detail. Same thing with darkening. Like, I've turned the exposure up like 2.5 stops, and this still isn't super grainy, because going back to the original, yeah, it's dark, but it's not dark enough that there's no information there, which is really cool, and makes me very happy. Let's see. Give me a second. Okay. I'm gonna send a quick link to this stream to someone who's asking for it. We still going? We are still going. Look at that. Share, copy link. Try that. Cool. All right. So anyway, we continue on. Yeah. So this photo. A, circular polarizer is how you get the light reflecting off it, but B, there's still enough detail that I could do a more normalized photo. What's probably going to happen is it's going to end up looking something like this, where the river is still bright white, with a little bit of detail in there, but there's enough, like, literally just the black rock of the canyon, just really, giving context. A shape in the darkness doesn't mean anything. A shape in the darkness, a shape with a little bit of, a shape with a little something in the darkness, that means something. So we're going to keep both of these for that reason, because I don't know which of them is going to best evince the concept. This is kind of closer to what I want the final photo to look like. I bring the shadows up. Now I bring the shadows up and the blacks down. There we go. Just that little bit of detail. Turn the texture up. A little bit of something. Dehaze a bit just to get dark. Yeah, something closer to that. Where there's that little bit of information there, just enough to see the river, to see what's around the river. That is going to be cool. I'll turn the clarity up. The clarity is also a good option for this. Good for that kind of thing. And I like my chance when one of my main colors is painting with white or black, where I don't have to, where it's not just like, this is a like this photo, good photo, like, and there's only a good amount. See, look at my histogram here. This is a very good spread, and there's like the darkest areas of the photo. Do I have anything that's actually underexposed? I do. I've got a couple underexposed bits here. Like this dark shadow is not going to I'm not going to be able to pull out info out of that. But like for the most part, this is just many shades of gray. A photo like this is like it's white and black. It's a lot of white and black, and I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna adjust it a bit, but it's gonna be mostly white and black, and I think that's really cool. Here we go. Okay, I finally figured this is what I got from the viewpoint. This is mom turn around, I'm climbing a rock, which makes it probably the best photo of the collection, because you get more of the river, and you have space around it. There's that rock. Yeah, I'm now standing on that rock, which was cool. Let's see. Are any of these better than that one? I like this one a lot. We're keeping that one. This one doing less for me now. This one doing less for me. This one feels like the right one. We're gonna keep that. And now I'm gonna switch and again try to find a little bit of that balance. Now I'm gonna have the river be, again, I'm overexposing a little more of the river, but I can still bring the highlights down enough to get some texture in there and get to see what's going on if I want to. Maybe. I don't know if I want to yet. This is the exploration part. So yeah, there's that, that one looks cool. Again, and this is the thing where it's like I've got the dark one that I can like really experiment with. And then I've got a light one that's a little more, that I could darken down if I wanted to just like pull the blacks way down on this one. Pull the blacks and the shadows down and get that, like, I could get the same sort of effect, and this gives me the option to play. I'm not making solid decisions on these yet. I'm still playing. I like this. I like this one for a couple reasons. One, I think does the next photo do it better? No, the next photo does it worse. We're gonna get rid of that. We're gonna keep this one. I like this one because of just a tiny bit of cropping. I'm gonna have where the river is just gonna be the river is gonna be a lightning bolt through this photo. I just do this and just do this, just like that. Actually, do I even need to cut that off? Maybe I'm gonna do this, and this is another one of those moments where if I want the center of the thing, I gotta have it. I want the river at the center of the photo. I gotta sort of put it blatantly off center. But yeah, there we go. Now it's just this slash of white bisecting the canyon. Again, overexposed, but I think I can pull it down. Okay, here's what I'm talking about. If I pull the highlights down, you see more texture there, but you still have some spots that are. No, we escaped overexposure, but here, so you got some spots here that are just bright white. You're not. That's just that looks like that's. If I painted that bright white in Photoshop, it would look exactly the same. If I take the whites and pull them down, I'm not getting more texture. I'm just getting gray. White is turning to gray. That's all that's doing. It's just clipping it off. So, yeah, not super helpful. Let's see. There we go. So yeah, that's what I was talking about about the clipping thing. But there's enough texture in there, and I can bring up the clarity. If I use the dehaze, ooh, that's interesting. Let's get yeah. No, there's a lot that can be done with this photo that will and there's a lot that I can do with this photo that will still stay true to the majesty of Black Canyon of the Gunnison, which is very good and very important. Again, like I said, there's spots at Black Canyon where you're like, oh, that's cool, and then there's spots at Black Canyon where you're like, oh, that's cool. This is an oh, that's cool spot. This is a spot that I stayed for a while. You will get sick of seeing this river. You will not get more sick of seeing this river than I will get sick of seeing this river. Take solace in that. All right, let's see. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm doing with the Tobias Funke educational hand move, but like that's all right. That's where we're at. This stream will cut off immediately if the Blue Man Group calls. I like this photo, and I can't tell you why, but I like it. I'm keeping it. Look at that. We've crossed 100 photos, y'all. We got 200, almost 300 photos left, and I'm on this stream for another 50 minutes. Well, so we might finish Black Canyon. All right. So then, okay. Here's the thing. If I take adjusting my polarizer again, now the river's still bright, but even without me adjusting anything, you still have all the texture. It is still darker now, and it still feels like it's more part of the landscape rather than a lightning bolt cutting through it. Both are good. Both are important. I've got a bunch of photos like this. Let me pick my angle here, because I'm gonna. One thing I don't love about my camera is, all right, that's a different shot. Is if I take a photo portrait, it doesn't automatically switch it. There's a feature for it, but it was throwing the camera off in a different way. So I've started. I've just been like, nope, I'm gonna live with my taking a lot of portraits and then switching them in Photoshop or in Lightroom. Looking at the thumbnail of this, I really like it. I like this one. I'm gonna keep it. This one not as much. This one feels like this. I'm too distracted. This one, again, maybe in this case taking out the sky, but just having the lighter section there gives you that same sort of like that sense of distance and and light. And having going from a bright spot to a dark spot to a lighter spot like does give you kind of we're going on a journey. This feels like a more complex landscape. Throwing the sky in there makes this feel small, and I don't like that. And look, I did it again. And it's weird because there was that other photo before, and even this photo I'm looking at going like, no, the sky in this photo makes it better. Having the sky there makes this feel better. Having the sky in that other one made it feel just like it really is just contextual. All right, let me go through all these real quick because I did take a bunch of these. And we'll... Hey, there's me tilting shots again. All right, let's look at these first three because I know I'm going to... those tilted shots, I know I like them, but they're going to be different. Let's see. That one feels like too much. It feels like the sky's in there, but not actually celebrated. This one's a little better. I like that. I like this one less. I think that second one, this guy here, number 108, is the right amount of sky. Plus, because I've got the clouds there, yeah, we can pull that down and we can get a nice. We can have a good sky while also still showcasing the canyon itself. And ooh, in color, that hits because you can see. I love the way our minds work with photos. I love the little things that our brains associate. At least mine does. I think all of our brains do this. And if you've watched my film editing streams, which again, like, thank you for sticking with me for the 20 years since my last one. I've talked a lot about the little editing tricks that you can do. That like if you have two shots that are like one of them moves a little bit and the other one's moving a lot, if you cut on the movement, that movement feels smooth. That cut doesn't feel jarring versus cutting from non-movement to movement. But the movement, like, it's whatever move, like just a little bit of movement is enough to make our brains go, yeah, that felt natural. Here, by seeing the tan and the brown of this rock going to the darker greens and blues and sort of, I guess, muddy purples of here to the blue of that rock, again, just further away. Sunlight sunlight goes through air and creates blue. That's why the sky is that. Like this, because we've got this breadth of color here, it makes this feel bigger. It feels just because we're going through a gradient of color, we also assume we're going through a gradient of scope. and it makes it feel bigger, which is accurate. But like, yeah, that's cool. That's why we do it. All right. Yeah, this is getting a star, so I know to come back and really, I know that I'm like, yeah, I like that one. All right, tilted shots. Something I've learned about myself. Sometimes when I'm taking photos that are traditional portrait, traditional landscape, I get it on the first try. My tilted shots, I never get it on the first try. I'm always like, the first one's like, oh yeah, tilted's cool. And then my second and third try is like, no. Lean into that. Fucking tilt that camera. In this case, it's the second one. Second one's got, I feel the depth of this. I feel the breadth of it. I feel, to some degree, I feel a little bit like I'm standing on the edge. I'm a little woozy. I'm a fan. I'm all about it. Excellent. Next photo. Hey, look at this. Let's look down into this canyon. Yep, this is another one that I think I might just keep for my own posterity. I might edit it. I've got a couple good photos that where we're looking down. You really get the scope. But like, yeah, there's the top. You can't see the bottom. Can you? Is that the river? You can see the bottom. You can see the top to the bottom. But like, zoop, that's it. 2,200 feet. Yeah, Black Canyon of the Gunnison is pretty freaking cool. Another one. Again, me experimenting with. That looks better. What am I? I'm on 10 millimeters, so I'm zoomed out. I'm zoomed way out, and I've got that sort of wide lens, sort of warping, almost that fisheye effect. But something about that works for this photo. I can't tell you why. I mean, it kind of. I'm unflagging this one. But this guy here, yeah, it almost looks like this. The top of this cliff is kind of coming out at you, which again helps exaggerate, but also accurately share what this thing looks like. This shot is just overexposed as balls. Look at that. That's all just way too much. Let's bring the exposure down and see what we got here. There's a mountain there. Did y'all know there was a mountain there? I didn't know there was a mountain there. And now this photo is not overexposed. This photo is still, I'm not gonna call it great, but like, surprise mountains are always, I'm not gonna say always fun. Surprise mountains are often fun if you're not a pilot. Also, if you like surprise mountains, go to Alaska. Go spend some time in the panhandle of Alaska. You will have a lot of moments of being like, I see this beautiful landscape and trees and then just clouds. And then the clouds will shift a little bit and you're like, no, there was a mountain way up there the whole time. It's great. Absolutely go to Alaska. I'm not going to say everyone should go to Alaska because, like, the problem, one of the biggest problems with our society and our world is too many people deciding that we all need to go do a thing. And we all need to go trample all over wilderness. But, like, yeah, Alaska's worth checking out, y'all. Alaska's pretty great. Here we go. Before and after, real quick. Yeah, look at that. Overexposed, pulled down to this. What does it look like if I take the black and white off? And it looks better. I don't love the Blue Mountains, but I think this looks better in black and white, but I do like this photo, if only for that one moment. All right, flipping it around. This is what it was supposed to look like. Again, might be an example of the photo it was supposed to be. It's easier to get the photo that was supposed to be when it was... Yeah, it looks better in the other one. The overexposed one, I think, looks better, which is great. All right, get rid of that. Next. Hey, look at this bird. And look at this bird being out of focus, and therefore this photo is not worth doing. Hey, look at this bird again. Bird is still out of focus. And also way too bright. And also, what on earth was this composition? Because I do want to bring this down and see what this looks like if I darken it. Ooh, if that bird was in focus, man. I like this photo. There's a verve to this. This photo I don't think is going beyond this in terms of edits, but like, I like this photo. There's something kind of adorably nuts about it. Ooh, even better. Let's do that. This photo is wild if I do it that way. I'm definitely gonna have to just take all of like. There's talking about adding, like, you get grain when you're trying to add stuff that's not really there. Yeah, look at the sky. Like, the sky was not meant to do this. I am trying to darken a thing that is not meant to be darkened, and therefore we're adding noise. There's ways around that. There's tweaks I'm gonna make. This photo is just entirely for fun, and I think it's really cool. Yeah, me chasing this bird. Here we go. Okay. Mountaintop over there. Yeah, highlights coming down is not the way to go. Contrast is closer to the way to go. white's coming down. It's a bit closer to the way to go. The other thing I can do, and that I will do once I get to really editing these photos, is I will come down here to my color sliders and I will bring down the blues, and that will just, yeah, that'll give us a lot more blue without doing. It'll balance out the darkness without me having to darken the entire photo down just to get the sky to cooperate. Yeah, this photo's pretty good. I'm all right with this photo. I kind of like it. I like this one less. Couldn't tell you why. Again, I like this. You've noticed I'm a big fan of layers. I'm a big fan of seeing the way the ecosystem sort of 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, and the fact that like. Let me bring the exposure down. This is just a touch. That's too much. Let's dehaze it. Let's get some clarity. There we go. And the fact that like this whole thing exists because like rainwater falls from the clouds, runs down the mountain, causing these eroded striations. Gets into the groundwater, nourishes all of these plants and lets them thrive, and then, for what rainfall falls in here, comes down the edges and carries sediment and nutrients down to the animals and the creatures that live at the bottom, but all of it ends up in the river at the bottom, which A, helps carve this canyon, and B, carries water and again nutrients to down to ecosystems onward. The interesting thing about the Gunnison River is the Gunnison River is one of the two forks of the river at Grand Junction, I think it's the Gunnison and the Colorado, and at Grand Junction they merge and become just the Colorado. But that flows all the way down. That's the river that carved the Grand Canyon, and that flows all the way down through down through south. Down. I believe it flows out the south of the United States, which means that and there's a decent chunk of all of the drinking water for the southwestern United States comes from this river and this thing. So the Gunnison River that carved Black Canyon has a huge impact on the water you get in the south, in Southern California, New Mexico, and Arizona, and also because a good chunk of Southern California is where our produce is grown. We have fresh fruits and vegetables, even if we don't live on the West Coast. A lot of those are grown thanks to water coming from the Gunnison River in Colorado, and so shots like this remind me of facts like that, and it helps. It's another example of why whenever someone and these people are idiots. Whenever someone is like, why do we need the national parks? What do the national parks do for us? It's the old, a capitalist looks at a mountain and looks at a rainforest and sees no value in it because they only care about making money. And only care about short-term gains and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, the fact that, this ecosystem, this picture right here, the same forces that shaped it are the same reason you get to have strawberries. That is cool, and that's why this shit matters. And I love this photo. Save it. Actually, I guess I give it 2 stars because I already did touch it up a little bit. Yeah, that's why this. All right, Lightroom was like, oh, we're done talking. You're just gonna talk for a bit. We can slack off. No, you can't, Lightroom. We're not done. I like this one better than the next one. I think my framing was a little better. We move on. We have made it now to the end of the south rim of Black Canyon. We got 4 sections of Black Canyon, folks. We got the south rim, we got East Portal Road, we've got the nighttime Milky Way stuff, and we've got the north rim and exclamation point. So we're not even done yet. But this is the south rim. This is the end of the south rim, or at least the end of the scenic drive. This is out to. I forget what this point is called. It's like point of no return or something. It's the last point on the thing. But there's also a hike from here out to Warner Point, and there's a hike also from there that you can hike down into the canyon. Not a thing they recommend doing. It's not a climbing route, that one. It is still strenuous. It is also, you do not get to go into that canyon and not come out. So there's a sign that says going into the canyon is optional, coming back out is mandatory. So like, it's a hike you got to commit to, but it's a cool one. It's still cool. But this is near the end of the drivable section. And yeah, no, I love layers. You're gonna see it. I've already sort of started editing one of the photos here, but I loved just this dead tree as a centerpiece to the background. So like, keep that. And of course, once you do a landscape, you do a portrait. Did a couple of these to try to balance out what I wanted in terms of sky. Nope, I like the first one better. Also because you can't really, I don't know if you can tell, there's a mountain back there. If I bring the highlights down, yeah, you can start to see there's a ridge line back there. Like, so you just get mountain, and then that corner is sky. Yeah, it's a cool photo. We're gonna keep that. Again, we love a surprise mountain. And then here we go. Now, I took a couple steps to the side, got the tree out of the shot, so I can have a little both. There we go. Dehaze this, and boom, Black Canyon of the Gunnison right there. I think that's Green Mountain over on the side. Now we have to make a decision about which of these photos we like best in terms of balancing light and dark. And here's the one I already started working on a little bit. I like this ridge in the foreground. I like I might crop this a little bit or get rid of the sort of branches hanging out in the foreground. That's not doing a whole lot for me. I'm probably gonna crop it. Crop the top off a little bit too. But like, yeah, that's one I like. Hey, Lightroom, move one at a time, please. I like this one better. It keeps the canyon in the center, which is cool. Take that out. I like this one a lot. This one feels like you're falling into the canyon. I'm a big fan of that one. This one, not as much. And then this first one. I actually might like that one better. I'm keeping both of those. Those are both pretty good. Yeah, and then we come. I'm also curious. You want to see what this looks like in color? There you go. Yeah, just blues. If I crank the saturation up with the vibrance, yeah, it's all just blues. But again, yeah, blues. And if I bring the whites and the highlights down more, you're just gonna see it going kind of grayish blue, but you're adding more blue to it. Undo those moves. I also undo the black and white and the saturation just there. Undo the color. Will you stop? Do you know how many things I undid? Okay, keep that looking good. We move on. We always move on. We are never done. There's 1,629 photos to go through. Maybe this one. I'll keep it. Maybe. I don't know. Gonna need to crop it. Need to adjust. Maybe. All right. Here we go. This is going to be the section of Eric's deleting a bunch of these photos. So, we went down what is called East Portal Road. It is the only way to drive down into the canyon. It is at a 16-degree grade, which if you remember your geometry and your trig, flat is 0, 90 is right up and down, 16 degrees, which makes it the steepest road in Colorado. Yeah, most like if you're in Virginia and you're going to Shenandoah and you're driving it Skyline Drive, you will see signs that are like, hey, steep road, 8-degree grade the next half mile or next 2 miles, or like you'll see, like I think they have to put up a sign. Like I've seen signs as low as like 4 degrees. Something like there's doesn't take a whole lot of degree change for them to put up a sign, because like a little bit of a degree change on a road while you're driving a machine that weighs tons is substantial. 16 degrees is kind of nuts. So we're driving down this road in low gear, and I am because we're not really stopping, I am taking photos out the window, which means a lot of my photos, and especially this one that 640th of a second, I don't know, we'll see. A lot of these photos are gonna be blurry. A lot of these photos I knew wouldn't turn out, and so I was like, all right, we're gonna We're just going to see what I can get. That one's actually not too bad. I like that one. I kind of like the sign in it. That's kind of funny. Another one here. Like, again, that's pretty good. My shutter speed's at 640. That's pretty good. 1/640th of a second seems like it's almost fast enough. I could probably live with that. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this one. I said, like, yes, this is gonna be Eric deleting a bunch of photos. We'll see. I was kind of assuming I'd blow through a bunch of these. We'll see if that actually ends up happening. Got a little bit of the road there, a little bit of the landscape, in black and white in color. Doesn't really do much for me. He says, dismissing natural wonders that took millions and millions and millions of years to form. You know, seen better. This is the danger of social media. I did not think this shot actually came out. Yeah, I'm gonna if I crop the bottom of this off and just have the mountains and the one road going through it. Cool. It's also wild driving East Portal Road and like looking out and down and seeing, yep, that's the road you're gonna be on in like 3 minutes. Anyway, next. Sunlight through the trees. Is this a shot worth having? I mean, they're aspen trees. I'm not entirely convinced the shot's one that I need. No, like, in the moment, I'm like, ooh, aspens, that's cool. I hadn't seen aspens in Colorado yet. By the end of the trip, I'm like, oh my god, I'm so over aspens. They're gorgeous, and I want to come back and see them in fall when they turn yellow, but, like, aspens are gorgeous. I was kind of like, alright, I've seen aspens. Guys, those are aspens. Moving on. Here we go. Love a good lone tree up on something. Love a power line running behind the lone tree less. Let's not rotate. I'm gonna keep that. I might try to get that power line edited out of there. We'll see. I do love a good lone tree on a slope. I've got a few of those coming up, but like, yeah, I do. I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. A lot of on this road. Also, A lot of stuff that's cool. Like, a lot of stuff that's really cool. But it's not necessarily doing it for me at the moment. Bird over there. What was I trying to do with this? I was trying to get a picture of just the cliffs and stuff, which are pretty cool. Not sure what this was. Again, I'm taking photos, driving even going like 20 miles an hour in the car. I'm still to some degree taking photos a second at like taking photo. Like usually, you know, you think, oh, that's a photo when you press the button, you press the shutter button. In this case, I'm moving while I do that, so the photo I thought I was taking is slightly different than the photo I actually ended up taking, and that doesn't always work out. This looks cool though. I like the shadows. That's the other thing about going down into the canyon when the sun's out is you start getting some really nice shadows cast on the rocks, that looks cool. That looks cool. That looks actually pretty good. I throw the dehaze on a little bit. The dehaze, clarity, yeah, a little bit of clarity. Brighten up those highlights to get, yeah, that photo's got some life. 2 stars, mark it. We move on. There we go. There's coming down to that's what the river looks like down there. There's a dam down at the bottom. The crystal, no, it's not the crystal dam. What's the name of the dam? I think it might just be the dam. I've got a map somewhere. I forget what the dam is called. It might be the crystal dam for some reason. I'm not sure why I'm thinking that, but for some reason that's what it might be. All right. A little clarity, a little bit of dehaze maybe. Let's see. Nope. Don't click auto. I'm letting this thing edit my photos for me. That's a photo I like. It's worth keeping. I don't know if it's a photo that's gonna go beyond this point. That might just be a vacation photo. We love when the guardrail gets in the shot. We also love that rock formation. That rock formation's pretty baller. But we're not keeping it. Interesting. That's the other thing, is a lot of these photos I don't remember composing because I'm just kind of like, ooh, click, move, I'm shooting out the window of a car. So that photo's not really doing a whole lot for me. There you go. Lone hump on a... What is that? Oh, it's a rock formation. Okay, hear me out. Don't love the way it looks right now. Now it's a face. You got a nose, you got mouth. Like, I feel kinship with this thing. If I turn sideways, you'll get it. Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm going to keep this for silly purposes and nothing else. Alright, here we go. Again, trees on a ridge. We love trees on a ridge. I love trees on a ridge. The rest of you can deal. Especially if we can do stuff like this. If I bring the shadows up, you can see the rest of this thing. But like, ooh, no. Trees on a ridge. Dehaze is the wrong answer. Texture might help a little bit. Clarity. That got weird in a good way. Turn the clarity up. Turn the shadows up a bit. Texture down. That did get weird in a good way. I'm going to leave this with the clarity up and put 2 stars on it so I know to come back and keep editing. There's something about that there's some verve. It's got a verve. Switch. Again, I'm a big fan of... Hang on, what just happened? I hit the wrong thing. Cancel this. Not adding a preset. Big fan of shadows being cast on mountains. Not so much on this one. Again, keeping this one. I'm going to keep this one for... I'm going to keep it in black and white, and I'm going to keep it for family reasons. Just for vacation, because I like the photo. What is this? Is that water, or is that just shadow? Fates are unclear. Everyone's unclear. What on earth is that? Oh, nope, that's just shadow. Interesting. Cool. Get rid of it. Medically fascinating. Here we go. The majesty of the mountain, the forest, the telephone pole in the middle. Bye. There we go. That's better. That's interesting to me. The rock and the trees. Yeah. A little bit of something there. Maybe I might even keep the grass at the bottom because I think that's kind of neat. It's a darker element. This does nothing for me. That's the other kind of problem with shooting out the window of a moving car is that some of the photos you can kind of tell, yep, that was shot out the window of a moving car. This one's actually just blurry. Told you there were bad photos in this group. There's always bad photos. I'm just usually popping on like, guys, look at these photos. I'm ready to edit. Nah, today we're looking through all the dregs, looking at the bad shit. That's cool. There's something about that photo that I like. I like the ridge. I like the ridge line. I like the texture of the thing. I'm gonna keep that. I don't know if I'm gonna edit it. There's some of these where I'm like, yep, this one's gonna happen. There's a bunch of these where I'm like, maybe not. Maybe there's better. Interesting. I like it. I like what the sky's doing. That's kind of cool. Like a good gradient. We made it to the bottom, where there is water and reflections, and this photo is doing absolutely nothing for me. What lens am I on? I'm on the wide lens, and this photo is doing nothing. That's fascinating. Back it up. There we go. Now we're getting a bit of a Now we're getting a bit of that reflection. There's a little bit of something going on there. Again, just slight change in composition. I dehaze a little bit. It's really only affecting the sky, but that's kind of cool. Bring the shadows up. There we go. Clarity, maybe. Yeah. Okay. All right, photo. You've made me like you. Not that I doubted myself. No, I do doubt myself. Not that I doubted my photos. That's worse. But the one I just tweaked is better because I like the composition better. Will you get off that one? I'm not coming back to it. Get rid of this one. This one's not as good. All right. There's a good number of shots that I got with like little houses in the shot. This is gorgeous. I'm a big fan of it. Ooh, hey, look at the streaks in the sky. We got some light breaking through the clouds there. This ended up being so much prettier than I thought it was going to be. It's actually even really pretty in color. Shit. All right. 2 stars. Mark it. Love it. Fun fact. This is the... So, this river, the Gunnison River, also provides water to... I'm going to yawn again. Also provides water to the town of Montrose nearby. And the way it does it is they dammed the river years ago. And then they dug a tunnel, like 6-mile tunnel from here to Montrose, where the water flows through. And the tunnel is big enough that you can drive a pickup through it because they have to inspect it every year. They built this in the 19-teens, I want to say, late 1900s into the 19-teens, because when the tunnel was finally opened, they were planning a big ceremony, and it so happened that the current president was gonna be in the area, gonna be in the state visiting, and so they got him to. He came and he pressed the button and cut the ribbon and opened this tunnel officially, and that was President Taft. So William Howard Taft showing up in the town of Montrose and opening up this tunnel. Tunnel's still there. This house, this little shed is where the entrance to it is concealed. Wow, that photo came out better than I thought. Like, damn, that's a magnificent photo. Every once in a while, something happens to give me the impression that I know what I'm doing. Maybe not so much in this moment. This photo is not as interesting. Yeah, these, again, another one. I like it. I don't know if I like it as much as the last one, but I do like it. Just look like in color. How's this? That does strike pretty nicely. Those trees and that rock, the vibrance and the shadows. Yeah, okay, we're keeping this one. I see potential in this. Whether or not I actually end up exploring it. That's the other thing, is that, like... Hang on a second. Is that a better version? It's a better version. Get rid of this. Keep this. You know why? Those trees. Those trees right up here. That just form a perfect little sentries right at the top to kind of guide us through the rest of it. That's perfect. That makes it better. But that's the other thing, is that, like, I'm talking about these pictures, and there's some of these that are just making me glow, and yet there's a bunch, like, I don't know how many of these are going to get edited. Like, I edited a ton from my last Colorado trip, and I blew through them, and that was cool. But, I want to write down something I just realized I need to do. Yeah. I want to write down how many were in each folder before we started removing them. Oh, my pen right now. There were 211 at Sand Dunes. We'll come back to that. I think it's still 374 at Canyon. Dunes, Canyon, Kebler, Crystal, and Bells. Cool, there we go. All right. 20 more minutes in this, and then so we're not going to get through all the photos in this trip. We're going to get through maybe a third of them. But I will promise you 2 things. I will show you a Milky Way photo at the end of this, and I will show you one of my favorite photos of an animal that I've ever taken, and it's not what you think. Anyway, yeah, this photo looks great. I like it. I really like the trees there and the way they kind of stand sentry. Yeah, this photo ended up being really good. But also, like, I need to look back at my last Colorado trip. There's a ridgeline shot that I think is fine. I like it for vacation reasons. I don't necessarily like it for photo editing reasons. Let's see. What's this? Fine. Vacation shot, not a photo edit. This one, maybe. What we got going on here? I don't know. I like it. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if it's vacation. I think it's a vacation shot. I don't think it's a framed piece yet. But who knows? Like, if you're watching this stream today or any other time, and you see one of these photos that I'm just sort of meh-ing on but not getting rid of, yeah, let me know if something strikes. That cloud almost disappears when I do that. What happens if I darken this? Not a lot. I hate to say that that one's kind of meh. Yeah, if one of these strikes a chord with you, that's awesome. and let me know, and maybe you'll get me to reevaluate. All right, backing up. I like this better in black and white. I think. I do like it in black and white. We'll see. This might be a weird crop where I just kind of get the darkness of the tree against the rock, but I like that one. But yeah, like I've got 1,629 of these photos. I'm like maybe 40 of them are gonna end up being like real edits and real, like probably more than 40, maybe 40 per group. Just because, but like yeah, we got a couple of this waterway here that I was trying to get the rock and everything down. Which of these did I do a better job on? It's not this one, it's the second one, because I got the top of the rock there. Let's see, mountain in the distance? No, mountain kind of fairly close. I kind of like that. Again, I'm a sucker for a ridge line against the sky. I think there's something fun to be had with that. Maybe not dehazing this time. The reflection shot? Not quite. Something about this isn't holding my attention. I want to know why. Yeah, that's holding. I don't know why. I don't know why that's sticking with me, but it is, so we're keeping it. Ooh, second version. Let's see what's better. It's the first one. For some, this my eyes flow into this one more than they flow into this one. This one, folks. We all know what this is. We've all been there. Like, look at this. This is gorgeous. This is the inside of my lens cap. This is the I was taking a photo way too quick. I switched lenses and then quickly took a photo without remember to take the lens cap off because I'm looking through the viewfinder. But the reason for that is because I had to switch lenses because we saw a deer. Look at this mule deer being adorable. There she is. Look, a lot of deer pictures coming up. Some really good deer pictures. This one, keeping it because it's cute, and maybe I'll find a use for it. But let's see. This one looks a bit dark. This one is a bit dark, but darkness isn't necessarily a problem if the focus is good, and the focus is workable. Let's brighten up the shadows. Let's brighten up the highlights. Let's brighten up the exposure. Let me see this deer. Right? That doesn't look too half bad, actually. Look at that guy. Girl. It's a girl. Definitely a girl. Aw, mid-chew as well. That's cute. I think she's very cute in this photo. I don't think I'm gonna do much more beyond it. It's just, I don't know. We'll see. I do have some very good deer photos coming up, so I'm like, I get to be a little more discerning, even that is a very cute picture of a deer. This one's better. Look at the ears. Oh my god, I wanted to pet her so bad, and she might have let me. The deer, the animals down in the Black Canyon and also at Maroon Bells, which is where we're gonna end up. Almost worryingly comfortable with people. Like, look at her there with the ears. Those giant mule deer ears. Yeah, this photo has definitely some legs to it. Yeah. Mark it, keep it. 1 star. 2 stars. We're coming back to it. That's got, because she's in the light and there's dark section. Yeah, no, that photo's got some energy. And again, this is the thing. The photos I like the best, for the most part, are not just the photos of not just a close-up of the cute animal, but the animal in context. That being said, this is really cute. Like, she's just munching. Like, it's real cute. It's sticking around because it's real cute. She's being all curious. My focus is a tiny bit off, but like, look at her. She's making decisions. This is the thing. I can look at this face. Again, so cute, even if slightly out of focus and slightly blurry. But like, just cute. Better. Time out. This shot's okay. This one, she was, and this is the thing, like, I'm not moving closer to her, and I'm not even, like, what am I at? I'm at 600, so I'm zoomed all the way in, but I'm not zooming in further. She is walking down the path towards us. Me and my dad were both over here. A little blurry. You want a good profile, but you don't want that. Again, shutter speed's a little slow. I'm at 1/80th of a second. Usually when you're doing wildlife, you want to be over 100th of a second. Depending on the wildlife. Birds, you need to be faster. Mammals, you can be a little slower. Snakes just don't move. You or the snake. You don't move as survival advice, and snakes just don't move much, so you can go slower. 1/80th of a second, like good enough to get her moving, but she's flipping her ears, and didn't quite get there. This one's better. I'm still at an 80th of a second. I caught her not mid-ear flip. A little bit. There's still a little bit of fuzz there because that's a little bit blurry. But, like, I've got better shots. But, like, let's see. Oh, my gosh. Look at her. She's so cute. Again, I will get high-minded and I will talk about the history and I will talk about the ecology of the place. And then I will just look at a deer and go, oh, I want to pet it. I want to give her a little scritch between the ears. She's so cute. I'm going to keep that photo because she's so cute. This one is blurry. She is still so cute, but just not captured as well. Again, these photos aren't getting blurry and aren't getting framed up worse because this is me and my dad looking at each other being like, do we move? She just keeps coming right down the path. See, there she goes. She just keeps coming. I think the next shot, she's a little bit... There you go. Yep, she's walking past me, and I'm like, I can't switch lenses. You're this close. There you go. I mean, this is, again, still 600 millimeters. I'm still zoomed in really, really close, but she is, I don't know, 20 feet away from me, if that. Keeping that one for that reason, because I think it's cool. That's just a snoot. Here's her sniffing again. Yeah, she looked at us and really paid us no mind. Like, really didn't bother her. And we were also very close to the campground, which makes me think and worry a little bit that people have been feeding her and feeding the deer around there, which isn't good. Do not feed wild animals. It is bad for them. It is bad for you. It's bad for everybody. That's, like, I can tell you in-depth stories of multiple people who have died because other people got way too comfortable feeding the wild animals. Do not do it. Which also, fun fact, is kind of the plot of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. If you want to watch the Pooh is public domain now, so we made a horror movie of it. Do not watch this movie. That is that idea of don't feed the wild animals. They might go feral, or they are feral. They might get dependent and then get violent at you. Is a really cool theme that the movie basically encapsulates in less time than I just did, and then the rest of the movie is about killing cheerleaders. There is one bit where Pooh cries honey and like whips himself with Eeyore's tail. Eeyore's dead, by the way. They ate him. But whips himself with Eeyore's tail, and it's a thing that I have seen. I don't know if it's a thing that I necessarily needed to see. This photo is not as good as the other ones. This is one of those moments where I was like, great, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a picture of a rock in the foreground, and then you're going to see all these other rocks, and then lead to a big rock, and you're going to know this rock, like this little rock, little guys can do big things too, if I may speak from the Gospel of VeggieTales for a moment. And that song is going to be stuck in my head, and if you know that song, it's now stuck in yours. I'm sorry, or you're welcome. But yeah, this little thing of like, look at the journey of small rock to big rock. In my mind, this is how you shoot an inspirational photo. And also, like, because of the way the light's hitting this, and I'm probably going to enhance this a little bit in post, there almost is like a path coming through there. I like this photo. It's getting a star. I want to come back to it. Mountains and stream, Gunnison River. Bring up the shadows and see what this looks like. Bring forth the shadows. Yes, that photo has a story to it. I like that one. This one less so. I don't know why. I like the balance better than the last one. This one a lot less so. I don't know if I was trying to go for a light and dark thing necessarily, but I don't know. Not speaking to me to the same degree that the other one did that I was hoping for. Next flip. There we go. The first of many when we get to the Crystal Tour, the Crystal Mill and that whole and the Sheep's Mountain stuff. It's like, oh hey, that's too many wildflowers, bro. But this is the first one, and it is pretty. My problem with the photo here was trying to get. It's always like it is not breezy at all until all of a sudden you need to take a wildflower photo, and then all of a sudden it's breezy. I like this one. There's a few of these I think that are going to be a little bit blurred because I'm trying to take a photo at the right shutter speed while still. Wow, I went shallow. How shallow did I go? 3.5. Okay, which is why this is in focus and this isn't. Maybe too shallow, but I'm going to keep that because I'm curious to see where it goes. All right, this was me. I'm still at 3.5, but I think, yeah, I set my focus there, which helps a little bit because this is still in focus. Nope, it's still on focus, and the mountains are in the background. What's better? Second one's worse. Third one's better. Moving along. Still at 3.5 because I'm starting to run out of daylight. All right, I've got a couple minutes left. I'm gonna go ahead and once it crosses 6, I'm gonna show the other photos I wanted. I'm gonna jump ahead and show the other photos I want to talk about. I'm not getting to the end of this, and this photo does. I do kind of like it. No, I don't like it because my focus is soft because this thing's blowing and it's starting to blow in the breeze. Yeah, I have to turn because it's blowing in the wind. I had to turn my shutter speed up to 160th of a second, and that meant I had to turn my f-stop down and my ISO up a little bit in order to still be bright enough to expose somewhat correctly, which works out because like my flower is in focus and isn't blowing in the wind, but also means I lose all the background to a softer focus, to a shallower depth of field, which is not a problem, but it is a choice. Let me see. I like that one a lot. Wait, hang on a second. Undo that. Let me get all these sort of rotated so I've got a good sense of what my choices are. I like that one. That feels like it strikes a good balance. Focus looks good. So this is one of those moments of like, I like this one because it feels like the flower fits nicely into the little pocket created. Like it feels like these two are sort of like a yin yang sort of thing. And I think cropping this in a little bit, kind of on like 3 sides, will really help. This one I also like because the flowers are centered. It makes it feel a little off balance, but you do notice the flowers first. I'm gonna keep that as well. This one I like less. I don't like the distance between them. I like the thumbnail. But I like the I like the thumbnail, but I like the. Ooh, hang on a second. I'm gonna keep one of these. Let's keep this one. Keep this one. Lose this one. I'm gonna keep one of the ones where there's a separation between the mountains and the flower. And I've got a lot of anytime that we get to the point of me taking mountain photos or mountain wildflower photos, you're gonna see like the first shot is here is higher up where you've got background, space, flower. And then the second shots are going to be closer to here, where it's like I'm a little lower, and it's background, less space, flower. It's almost, and there's a couple I think I did where I've got the flowers at the same level or taller than the mountain, just by perspective, because perspective matters. Here's one. Yeah, I don't like this nearly as much, but this is what happens when I drop down closer to ground level to try to get the flowers with the. Excuse me, gonna stretch. Get the flowers and the mountain behind them. And also this one I've focused on the mountain versus the flowers, and I don't like that nearly as much. Alright, flipping around. Now again, take a photo, then turn around. This is what the other side of that photo looks like, and it's pretty with the sunlight and the water coming across. I did a few of these. Again, various heights. I'm standing on a rock right now to get this photo. That looks really pretty. Yeah, that's a good one. It's a very, very good one. Absolutely keeping that. Let's work our way back through these. So there's 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. It's not the first one. My instinct says it's the third. Yeah, it's third. down the third. And the reason for that is, I think, the clouds are interesting. They got a nice, curling dragon sort of thing going. But this line down here is more complete. It's longer in this one because I tilted down because I went down a little bit closer to the water, and that gives me a leading line to this kind of central juxtaposition or central hub there, where you see it kind of, which is definitely the crux of this photo. Again, there's a decent chance this photo never gets edited beyond this point, but I like it. I really like how that. I like knowing why I picked it, if that makes sense. Let's see, another good one here. Ooh, look at those clouds. Look at that. The reflection of the clouds there. That is something else, man. I wish this thing would only jump forward or back one photo when I tell it to. But like, ooh, that's pretty. I don't know if it's prettier than the one before it, but I'm keeping both. Because I think both are pretty good. Flag that as a pick. Thank you. Next. Alright, I'm going tilted again. How many of these did I do that I tilted? Ooh. Tilted that one so much my camera didn't think it was tilted. Look at that. Look at those clouds. Man, the clouds on this. We had some insane luck with clouds on this trip. All right, that actually looks pretty good. Usually the first tilted one isn't the one, but that one looks good. The second one looks bad. The third one I think is the best. That one barely looks tilted at all, but it really like. Especially doing a tilted shot when you've got water coming right at you, like having the water rushing by and kind of making you feel like you're a little bit swayy. I think the original photo I took, where I came up with the idea for twisted in nature, and had the idea of like we need to take nature photos that aren't following specific rules of that are trying to convey the feeling of nature versus conveying the features of nature. Was a moving water shot actually in Colorado in Rocky Mountain National Park. That was the first I took that photo and then I was like, this feels like a thing that this feels like an expression of me in a way that mattered. And again, this is me being pretentious. This is me being pretentious about my photography and about my. But like that moment felt like this feels important to me and artistic to me, and that's where I came up with, same place I came up with the term twisted in nature, kind of a couple minutes after, and that also feels really, 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 really correct for me. Okay, so this one is getting a star because I like it. This one here is getting 4 stars, so that I know when I come back that's where I left off. This one is going to be kind of cool, I think, because this one's going to be cool in black and white, and specifically just because it's got the sun hitting that mountain is making it white, and just that darkness. We're going to come back to this one, but I'm pretty sure I'm keeping it. Let's take a quick second to look at a couple other photos that I promised I'd show, because we've just hit 6 o'clock. We've hit the 2-hour mark. Let's look at a couple other quick photos. We got a bunch more Black Canyon to go through. But we got some night photos. Got some nighttime stuff. And I'm going to share this one because I think this one is funny. Again, same way on sand dunes, we had people who were like up on the dunes, and as they moved around, I saw their lights. Same thing here with this photo. Where a guy who decided to pull into the parking lot while I was doing a long exposure, because this was a 2-minute exposure, and ended up, take the color off, ended up lighting up the whole thing. And then also there's my headlamp, my red light here, lighting the thing up. But this photo is interesting. But here's the thing: if I take this photo and I start playing with some of these settings, there's the Milky Way. And that's just playing with the clarity. There's plenty more that I'm going to do with this photo. There we go. Brighten that up. Milky Way, baby. This photo is also a little bit slanted and needs to be fixed. But actually, there's part of me, even though so little of this is natural, the red light from my headlamp, the green and the yellow light from this dude's car, Oh my god, I got a picture of the dude. This dude is interesting to me. I have thoughts about this dude. I'm very curious about what he was up to because he showed up and just was sort of weird about stuff. But I didn't realize I got a picture of him. But yeah, there's like the red, the green, the blue of the sky, a little bit of tweaking. This photo is definitely gonna be a thing. But yes, so that's, and I've got, and this also gives me a lot of hope for the rest of the Milky Way shots I did because this is back at Black Canyon at night, and we're gonna have some fun with the Milky Way. That might actually have to happen off stream because I think trying to edit all these photos and then merge them into a panorama, that's what's coming. Might end up being a bit more than my computer wants to do. I need a new computer. Buy my photos so that I can get a new computer. All right. One other photo that I promised to show you because we're gonna work our way through this, but Maroon Bells. Maroon Bells is one of the most gorgeous spots in Colorado. It's one of the most photographed spots. I've got a lot of good photos of deer here. We're gonna scroll through those. See, I told you, my Lightroom doesn't even want to load. There we go. Take your time. I'm probably frozen at this one. I don't have a clue. I think I'm just sort of skipping here as Lightroom figures out what it's doing with its life. It's a lot of photos here, and I've been streaming for a while. All right, well, the mouse is working. We're going to hold for a second. Everybody just sort of chill. Let's see. All right, there we go. We're starting to move. But yeah, so a lot of deer photos from Maroon Bells. Again, the animals in this area are way too comfortable with people, which is great for photos, but not great for animals. Nighttime shots, got a bunch of daytime shots. We're gonna get through these. These are some absolutely gorgeous shots of the mountains. Yeah, there's sort of a preview of just the mountains, the lake, the reflection. Yeah, no, Maroon Bells is gorgeous, but there's also a scenic loop. There's a fox. We love a good fox. There's a ton of hikes from Maroon Bells, and you can go up. And I went and did a hike. Did a little scenic loop. It was about just about 2 miles. And I had a fun encounter with a stag, where he was on the path and we had about 20 minutes of just he takes a step, I take a step, we both see each other. I take his picture, we keep going. Like never any threat, never any moments, never any behaviors from him that I was worried about. But also, like, I was aware that he's like I'm in his space, and I need to make sure that A, I'm aware that I'm in his space, and B, I'm aware that I'm like if he was acting anything other than completely nonchalant and not interested in me, I should be 20 more feet back. Like I got too close to this guy by the end of this hike. But so many good photos from Maroon Bells that I can't wait to show you because just gorgeous scenery, gorgeous location. But the thing I'm going to end on, the thing I'm ending this sorting stream on, because we're not done yet, is here's this stag, here's this guy, and like just him, like I'm this close to him, and I am like my lens is I don't even think I was 600. I think I was zoomed all the way out. But the photo of this guy that is my favorite one is this one, which is going to take a minute to load because Lightroom is I'm asking it to do a decent amount. But Lightroom, let's go ahead and show him this photo. 150 millimeters. It's on my big lens, but I'm still zoomed all the way out. And I caught this guy kind of middle of chewing. And yeah, he looks like this. And some of this is because like the sun is behind him, so he's backlit, and the light and the shadows cast by his ears and his antlers are kind of putting his face in this darkness and giving him this almost like the light that just this little streak of light that comes down through and just like lines up with his mouth is almost giving him like a Glasgow smile, like that little Joker, you know how I got these scars moment. And because he's mid-chew, like he looks, I love this photo. I love how deranged this deer looks. Like I already know I'm editing this one. I already know it's a favorite. Yeah. So on that note, that's what we're gonna end the stream on. Okay. let's go ahead and swing it back over to just me, and I think flip my camera. One of these is flipped, the other one isn't. So one of these is what you see when you look at me, and one of them is what I see in the mirror. But okay, thank you for joining me for the first 4 hours of this. We are nowhere near done. We still have to finish Black Canyon. We're about halfway through Black Canyon, and then we have Kepler Pass, Crystal, and the ghost town of Crystal, the Sheep Mountain, and the town of Marble, and then we have Maroon Bells, from whence this deer hails. But we are going to keep working through this. I'm going to keep streaming the next several days, continuing throughout this week, because I want to keep sharing this, and I'm excited to share all these photos. I'm excited to get some of them done, and to let you enjoy the process from first look of do we keep, do we not, and why we like and why we don't, to here's what we can do with it. Here's a photo that's amazing. So yeah, that's where we're at. That's what we're gonna keep doing. I am going to be working on graphics for where you can find my photos, but if you go to erichackler.com/photography, you can find my profile there. If you go on Instagram and go to either Checker Liar or Twisted in Nature, Twisted in Nature is the photography one. I need to make a graphic for that as well. But yes, if you go to Twisted in Nature, you will find you will find that, and you will find a link to my my store on Go Imagine, where I will be selling several of these photos once they're tweaked and edited. But yes, so thank you for joining me. Thank you for being part of this. Again, I'm excited to keep doing this, and excited to do more of this and to be more engaging. So we will be streaming more. We will be doing more stuff. That being, here's the thing. You're looking at me. I'm looking at this deer, and I want him to be proud of me. But anyway, thank you for joining. Thank you for sitting through however many hours of this you sat through. There is more to come. There's never not. But in the meantime, keep doing your thing. Where's the closing button? There it is. All right, keep doing your thing. Go out there, be awesome, make art, make change, make waves, and remember that there is nothing that we can do in this world, whether it's art or politics or just work or existing, that doesn't require us being intrinsically connected to other people and to nature and to the world around us. And if we don't lose sight of that, as long as we keep sight of that and keep sight of the way this world matters, it becomes impossible impossible is an optimistic word. I hope it becomes impossible for us to do damage to it, and to do damage to the world that we live in, and damage to the people that are around us. So look out for each other, get out in the world, make art, make waves, make a difference. And I'll be back on soon to show you more pictures of the stars and rocks and interesting looking animals. See you next time.